What's up, everybody? Caster Crash Course here, and today we're talking about Heishi. So Heishi is the rival deck to Genji, and where Genji is more on the physically offensive side, trying to push through a brute force, Heishi focuses more on the covert side, and just kind of doing whatever they want and not caring about what your opponent does, thanks to their main gimmick of Hubris, which allows you to ignore your reverse servants your opponent controls. So, I really like this deck. This is my main deck right now. For those of you who are on the US Facebook page, a couple weeks ago I put up a deck list and tournament report with this deck, where I went undefeated. You can check that out if you'd like, if you haven't seen it already. But yeah, so this deck is super cool, and without further ado, let's get into the list. So starting off the list, we have 4, Tadamori. Tadamori is one of our 2 main attackers in this deck. Her 2000 attack on a 2-drop is excellent, so she can deal with a lot of early game threats really easily. Additionally, she has Hubris, which allows you to just ignore your opponent's reverse servants, so you can just kind of push through really hard with her. And there's no reason not to be playing 4 of her in a Heishi deck. She's definitely one of the strongest Heishi for sure. Up next, we have our other main attacker of the deck. 4, Tactless Butterfly. Butterfly was Hubris before Hubris existed. She just kind of does what she wants and swings around your opponent's cards. And additionally, she has protection that makes it so that she can't be attacked while she's rested. So she's pretty much safe during all of your opponent's turns. She's an excellent card, and between the 2 of these, you just kind of run face at your opponent, and you never really care what they're trying to do because you'll kill them before they get there. And between them, they're just really strong, and there's no reason not to play 4. Next, we have 3, Toki Tada. Toki is walking removal. When she comes into play, each player banishes a non-Heishi, which we don't play too many non-Heishi. We're playing Butterfly and 1 other. But for the most part, 2 other actually. But for the most part, she is not bad. We're only playing 3 because, like I said, we do play non-Heishis. So we don't want to go minus in the process, but it's always nice to be able to kill something and then also kill another monster with an attack or corrupt an orb in the same turn. So we're playing 3. Next we have 4, Ferocious Mantis. Mantis is a great card. She has Break. She destroys something when she comes into play. She's got a good body. All in all, there's no reason not to be playing 4 Mantis in pretty much every purple deck right now. So yeah, we're playing 4. Next we have Kiyomori. Kiyomori is the boss monster of Heishi. I personally think that Tadamori, the 2-drop, is our boss monster, just when you compare which card does more work in general over the course of a game. But Kiyomori is a really strong card. When she comes into play, she's got Double Corrupt and Hubris as long as you control another Heishi. She can't be attacked when she's rested, like Butterfly. So she's kind of like the best of both worlds in that aspect. She's searchable, so we're playing 1, but a lot of times, I wouldn't say more is necessary, because a lot of times by the time you could play this card for its cost, you've got your opponent in like a condition where you're probably going to win the game anyway. So at that point, she's kind of a win more card, but I still like her, so we're playing a 1-off. You could play a Lucifel in this slot instead if you own one. He costs a little bit more, but his Hubris and Double Corrupt is not stipulated, so you can just kind of have that. It comes down to personal preference. I like that she's searchable, so we're playing the 1. Next we have our 1-drop, 4, Biwa Monk. Monk's job is to jump a hit and then search you out a Heishi to help you keep pushing. When she comes into play, she has slow start, so she can't attack the turn she comes in anyway, so you don't get a whole lot of benefit for playing her not in reverse. So I like her in this deck a lot, actually, because she, like I said, she helps you keep pushing. But the other 1-drop of Heishi is the Conjure Tale of the Heike. I don't like that card very much because I have terrible luck pulling cards off the top of my deck. So I prefer to play the card that gives me the guaranteed search over the card that does not. So we're playing 4 in this deck, and I'm not playing any Tale of the Heike. That comes down to personal preference as well, I think. Up next, we have Tadamasa. 4 of them. Tadamasa is the most fun servant in the game, I think. She's so much fun in the fact that she has quick cast. So she's always live as long as you have the mana for her. You can just get so many nutty plays off with this card that there's no reason not to be playing for. If you've already wasted all your opponent's resources and they only have one reverse servant left, you can just flash her in during the battle phase and just tap down their servant and swing for game. Or if you've already swung with her for the turn and you have a card that lets you return her to your hand, you can put her back in your hand and then play her again and then swing, and then it's basically like she had double corrupt that turn. Or if she's on the table and you swing, you can put her back in your hand and then play her reverse during your opponent's turn to tap down their biggest threat and then have a 1-card wall. And she lets you do so many goofy plays that are just really strong and very frustrating for your opponent that I love this card. It's just so good. Playing 4 for sure. Up next we have the last servant of the deck, 2 Capable Compass. Compass is pretty good. It's like a not quick cast Tatamasa, but it's a break, which is kind of the trade-off. That's why we're playing it. It's just because it's a break. If we could play 6 Tatamasa, I'd probably do that instead. But that's not how this game works. Moving on to our conjures, we have 4 Proclamation of Life and Death. It's a kill spell. It's not like a target kill spell. Your opponent chooses what dies, but it is a break, so you can potentially get it for free. That kind of is my thought process on why I'm playing it. In general, it costs 2, so it's not bad to be able to just go, get rid of a guy. Because in the early game, your opponent probably only has 1 or 2 creatures anyway. So it's not bad. You could play less. I like 4. I like breaks. Up next, we have 3 Zero Motivation. Motivation is an awesome card in that it's not player specific. You can return servants you control to the hand, or servants your opponent controls to the hand. If they have a threat you can't answer during that turn, that would make you lose the game. You just put it back in their hand, and then it's gone for the turn. You can find some kind of other answer for it at a later point. Or if they're going to kill something that you control, you can just kind of put it back in your hand, and then you get to draw a card off of it. It's really good immediate removal, especially because it doesn't have any sort of stipulation on what you can return with her effect. So we're playing 3. I like it. That's all of the cards that are not casters. So let's go ahead and get into our casters. So starting off the casters, we have 1, Haru Michelle. Haru is a great card. The fact that she can corrupt an orb if they play a conjure means your opponent is never going to want to play conjures, like ever, unless they absolutely have to either save a guy that is crucial to winning the game, or to kind of push and make a play that's crucial, because you're just going to punish them every time as long as she's standing. And she's just so good that there's no reason not to be playing her at least a 1-of in pretty much every deck that plays purple. So we're playing the 1. Up next we have 2 Laura Hare. Laura lets you draw cards if you attack more than once in a turn, specifically 2 or more, but you know. And that's great in a deck where you're pretty much always going to be trying to run face around your opponent's cards with Hubris. And so you might as well turn your corrupting 2 orbs in a turn into corrupting 2 orbs and drawing a card in a turn. So she's great. We're playing 2. Next we have 1 Ellie Superior. Ellie is a really good card. She's not the greatest card in this deck because we're not playing a whole lot of insects, but since we are playing Mantis and Butterfly, she lets us turn them into kill spells if we absolutely need to. So, but since she doesn't have a whole lot of synergy with the entire deck, we're only playing her at a 1-of. Next we have 2 Shura Psyche. Shura is a really cool card. She pumps your Heishi the same way that Risei pumps Genji, but I think that she's really interesting comparatively to Risei, where I find this card to be more defensive in Heishi. So like, if your opponent's trying to attack your Heishi that are tapped down, you could use her to pump them. Since most of the Heishi that you're going to be going on the offensive with have Hubris, they're not going to care about what their attack stat is during your opponent's turn. So you kind of care about it more during the following turn when you're trying to protect your guys. And so I think that's just an interesting kind of mirroring between her and Risei, and how that 1,000 attack really makes a difference in different situations. Moving on, we have 1 Lily. Lily is a cool card in that she is excellent for the mirror match. She lets you stop your opponent's Tatamoris and Butterflies before they even get a chance to attack, in that she can give them slow start. And especially Butterfly, because if it's still standing, opposed to being in tap mode, it can still be attacked. So you can nip it in the bud before it even becomes a problem. And since we're playing green, I have her in here. Up next, we've got 2, Ran. Ran is by far my favorite caster. I mean, I've said that like a million times. She lets you return your guys to your hand for free as long as you control a second creature. That lets you dodge all removal your opponent has as long as she's live. And there's no reason not to be playing her because you can just kind of do nutty stuff, especially with Tatamasa in this deck, in the fact that you can like just keep putting it back in your hand for free and quick casting it back into play and just kind of doing whatever you want, not caring, and it's just really fun. So we're playing 2. Next we have 2, Nadeshiko. Nadeshiko is color fixing for Genji and for Heishi. She's better for Heishi in my opinion because, I mean, you're already playing green opposed to Genji, which doesn't play green. But we're playing 2, I mean, like I said, because it's in our colors. And color fixing is always nice. Moving on to our blue casters, we have 1, Zoe Roussel. Zoe's in here because she lets you kind of recoup. If your opponent destroys one of your creatures, you can tap her and get a draw out of it so that you just turned your minus into a 0, so you can kind of keep pushing. I like her. We next have 2, Lady Lupinus. Lady lets you grab your Heishi back out of the graveyard after they died, so you can kind of keep recycling your cards because it's easier to recycle the ones that you've already seen than try and dig for more. And so we're playing 2. And next we have 1, Lineal. Lineal lets you put conjures back on the bottom of your opponent's graveyard. It's not as relevant as it used to be thanks to the banning of that pink card that says you can't be attacked. And I still think she's good. She's definitely no more than a 1-of in my opinion, but still a strong card because you can kind of disrupt your opponent's plays. Next we have 1, Hilda Willow. She's okay. Sometimes if you know what your opponent's stacked on top, like with Genji, you can tap her down and then kind of stifle their play right there really quick. But for the most part, she's in here mainly to be blue mana and to be a different name. And lastly, we have 1, Rafina Soa. Rafina lets you wombo combo with your other caster effects, and also she's more color fixing. But since we are playing 3 colors, I don't want to play more than 1 non-main color, so we're just playing the 1-of to try and make some stuff happen. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, why don't you go ahead and leave me a like down below. Or if you want to see more content from me, feel free to subscribe. If you have any questions or things you want to ask about the deck, feel free to leave me a comment and I'll answer them. As always, I appreciate the view and I hope to see you all in the next video.